Hello Internet Allies, how are you doing? So, recently I've kind of been inspired to make a video about video games and whether or not it's kind of good for people, whether or not it's therapeutic and stuff, and whether or not it's good for mental health and mental development. Okay, so let's get into this, here we go. So, when I'm going to structure this video, I'm going to make arguments for this statement, arguments against the statement, and kind of my take on this. Now for this, this can be any sort of, interactive games basically, that, require any kind of imagination. So you could have board games, video games, card games, games you can just play just generally and stuff like that really and stuff. First of all, let's kind of talk about why I think games are good for people. Okay, so I think my favourite thing about games and stuff is that kind of feel of escapism and stuff, where you can just kind of have a bit of time to just basically escape from the stresses of reality, and you can be transported into some of these fantastical worlds and stuff like that, and all these fantasy worlds and stuff, which is great, and stuff that you just wouldn't see or wouldn't experience in the real world. I think this is something that games do really well, is being able to give that kind of player the kind of interactive immersive experience where you can basically just sort of do just kind of things that people just can't do. You can play as characters with all sorts of abilities, all sorts of powers, and pretend to be these characters as well, which is great. For example, you got Sonic, who has super speed and stuff, and great fun I think as well. I think there's also quite a big social aspect with games, because I feel a lot of people have probably experienced a game or whatever at some point in their life. Not only is it something to bond over, so people could kind of bond over similar tastes in games, or people could recommend games to other people. I'd seriously recommend Persona 5 if you've not played that. It's not only that, but also playing together as well, whether that's locally, so for example, I love playing Super Smash Bros with my friends when they're around here, or even playing online and stuff like that with your friends, friends that might live far away, and I've known that people do kind of make friendships through gaming really and stuff like that. They can make long distance friendships and, even more stuff than that. I mean, I know one of my friends, she ended up finding her romantic partner through gaming and stuff, which I think is really cool. And also it's kind of good for team building and stuff as well, and also problem solving as well, because a lot of games, are quite mentally stimulating as well, where you've got to use your initiative a lot of the time to basically overcome the kind of problem that's put in the game, and overcome whatever puzzles thrown your way, or whatever challenges thrown your way in a game. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to why I think gaming might not be good for some people, might not be therapeutic for some people. Basically, one thing is that some games are very competitive, and it kind of depends on the type of game it is and the type of player you are. I mean, when I was younger, I was definitely super competitive. I absolutely hated losing. I would get really upset whenever I lost a game, even if it was a simple card game like Uno or something. If we had a family party game, I always had to get the top score, otherwise I'd be very unhappy or wouldn't be settled and stuff. And yeah, that wasn't really great for my self-esteem. However, I will say what's worse than a sore loser is a sore winner. Somebody who kind of gets very cocky and quite arrogant when they win a game. I did know somebody like this. I mean, they were a bit younger than me, but still they were quite kind of in your face about whenever they won a game of whatever it was. They kind of talk down on you they were better than you just because they won a game. The only thing I can really say, if people are struggling with being competitive or being a sore loser or whatever, outside of the game, that doesn't really take anything away from you as a person. Losing a game does not define who you are as a person. It's something that people will get over. It's not going to make anybody think any less of you if you've lost a game or whatever. So yeah, please just bear that in mind. I think another thing which isn't great about games sometimes is that sometimes they can be very addictive and very like time consuming, and you know, you can like lose yourself in the game. Whenever I play a game, like I always limit myself to like an hour at a time and stuff. Otherwise, you know, I can just like get carried away and, you know, will kind of forget about like jobs I need to do and stuff, and other tasks at hand. Yeah, like if I fall behind on them, then, you know, that's going to kind of affect quite a lot of things. You know, if you're kind of like struggling with like gaming addiction and stuff like that, like, you know, kind of try to like limit yourself to like times in the day, or try to limit like the amount of time you play at one time or during one session. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is kind of say like my take on this. What do I think? I mean, this is basically going to be repeating what I just said in the video and stuff like that earlier on, but I do think that games are a good way for people to unwind and people to like bond over like games and stuff like that. But also at the same time, you know, you've kind of got to be careful, like, you know, if you are like super competitive, and also, you know, it kind of depends on like the type of game, you know, you are playing, you know, you just try not to kind of lose yourself in that. However, like, you know, games are so much fun to play. Like, you know, I do love playing video games. I do wish I had more gamer friends. I will just say, just don't take games too seriously at the end of the day, and just kind of keep it like in a moderation, you know, in balance with, you know, everything else that's going on in your life. Thanks very much guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. I hope you're on a wonderful day guys. Until next time, keep smiling. Bye!